Oh, good God.
Pay attention! In your pack, the dog. I swear, you heroes aren't particularly quick on the uptake. Good. Got your attention. I'm Barnes, the Hound of Clavicus. A word of advice here. You've made a bad deal. This Umbra, bad business. Things always end badly where that one's concerned. Clavicus has always been a little blind to that, and it'll end badly this time too. So, just leave things be. Walk away. It's your best bet, really.
Here we are at Pell's Gate. Now, it's time to talk to the residents and see if they can tell us anything about this Umbra sword. Just to kind of recap on the quest here. So, let's see here. Alright, when I gave my offering at the Shrine of Clavicus Vile, the Daedra Lord told me about Umbra and how he wishes me to return him the Umbra sword. I should start my search in Pell's Gate. And then shortly after, we heard the most irritating voice in the whole game. Barbas, the Hound of Clavicus Vile, has spoken to me through the figurine that appeared in my pack. He tells me that returning the Umbra sword to Clavicus Vile is a mistake, likely to cause great ruin to Vile's domain. And the question is, does Dar-Lei care about causing ruin to Clavicus Vile's domain? Is that really is he really all that concerned about it? Or does he want to have a cool sword instead? Oh, what a conundrum. But maybe once we talk to these people, they can give us more information and we can make a decision about what we want to do. I genuinely have not made up my mind about what I want to do with the sword yet, so.
Well met.
What's new with you?
I ran into some...
Sorry, excuse me.
Welcome to Pell's Gate. What brings you around here?
Well, I'm looking for Umbra.
Umbra? That's a name I haven't heard in a while. And it's not one you should be using around Pell's Gate either. Before I go on, let's clear something up. Are you here asking about the sword or the person? Which is it?
The sword.
It's a powerful sword, no doubt about that. Jet black, got a wicked edge on it. And they say it can steal a man's soul. I know of at least one soul it stole. Lenwyn. She's the one who found the blasted thing. I suppose you want to hear about the person now.
Sure, tell me about the person.
Who is Umbra? I can tell you who Umbra used to be. Lenwyn. She's my apprentice, or at least she was, until she found that sword. Never did say where it came from. She just showed up with it one day, said it was called Umbra. But she was different. She'd always been fair with a sword, but she began looking for fights, became bloodthirsty, and then started calling herself Umbra after the sword. Finally signed on with some mercenaries, but I hear that ended too. We haven't seen her in years.
Where is she now?
Can't say for sure. Some say they've seen her nearby, near the Vindasal ruins. Might just be wishful thinking, though. If she's around, she hasn't come into Pell's Gate. Nor should she. I fear that girl is long gone. If you seek her out, take care. She's a powerful one, or at least that sword is. I'd steer clear if I was you.
I do like powerful swords, Irok. Anything more you could say about Umbra?
I can't tell you any more than I already have. I'm sorry.
Noted. What can you tell me about Pell's Gate? This place where you live seems quiet.
We're a small community, mostly keep to ourselves. Can't say it isn't nice to see a new face around, though.
I can imagine.
I wish you luck. I fear you'll need it.
I doubt I will, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Now, the question is, have we been to Fort Homestead? We have. So the question is, what do we want to do with this sword? Let's think about this carefully. We'll take the walk to kind of think about it out loud. So, on the one hand, this sounds like an incredibly powerful sword. And as attached as Dar-Lei is to his current sword, you know, he would never say no to an upgrade. But if all it can do is trap a person's soul, well, that's not super interesting. He's already got a spell for that. Whereas this sword weakens his enemies at the same time that it strikes. It takes away their armor, damages their armor, more so than a normal weapon would. So, you know, the damage on the sharpness of the edge would have to be supernatural for Dar-Lei to consider taking the sword. Not to mention, it sounds like the sword has a corrupting influence on the person that wields it. This Umbra person, by all accounts, sounded perfectly normal before getting the sword, and now she has been in some way corrupted by it. So it would be so to summarize, on one hand, it'd be nice to have a more powerful sword, but on the other hand, its magical effects don't sound all that extraordinary, and it sounds rather corrupting. Another point against getting it is that, as far as Dar-Lei can tell, it's not actually a Daedric artifact, and the whole point of going and doing these Daedric quests is to get Daedric artifacts so that he can study them himself and try to understand them a bit more. So it's not clear to Dar-Lei whether this sword counts as an artifact itself.
Yeah!
That was my soul trap spell. My bad. I meant to use my weakness spell, but oh well. So, and then on the other point of consideration, Dar-Lei certainly doesn't care if it ruins. But that's a good point. If the sword is powerful enough to potentially ruin an entire Daedric prince's realm, what could it do to Dar-Lei, right? What could it do to a mere mortal? It already corrupts. Sounds like it corrupts mortals. Maybe it'd be better in the hands of a Daedra so that it can't corrupt another mortal. You know, if we look at it that way. We look at it from a clearly self-interested perspective. Let's be honest, all these considerations are pretty self-interested. I haven't seen one of you in a while. You're still alive. Not for much longer, though. There. So, man. I feel like there are a lot of points, from a role-playing perspective anyway, there are a lot of points against taking the sword. Not to mention, do we really want to invoke a Daedric Prince's Wrath? Do we really want to do that? Doesn't seem wise. Does not seem wise to me. Maybe we will return the sword to Clavicus Vile. I feel like there are a lot of reasons to do it from Dar-Lei's perspective. I can already hear people screaming at me in the comments, "No, it's the best sword in the game! What are you doing?" But remember, this playthrough has never been about being optimal. It's been about the roleplay. It's been about the role-playing experience. Oh, behold. My worst enemy, a rat. Oops. fun traps. Overkill, but whatever. No, this is not it. Where's my really good one? There we go. Yoink. Yoink. Okay, we'll go around this trap. Jump over it. Yeah, we can. Whee. Ooh, shit. Voila. There we go. Grasping. Okay. Cool. Take a Welkin stone. Let's quickly restore everything. Oh no, another rat. What will I ever do about that? Uh-oh. The poison trap. Oh, poison traps don't matter to me. The immunity to poison has been a nice benefit of playing an Argonian, I won't lie. Been pretty nice not having to worry about that stuff. Then again, we're interested in studying powerful artifacts. The sword that can corrupt people is must certainly be a powerful artifact worthy of study. Maybe that's enough of a reason to keep it for ourselves. Examine just exactly why. Figure out just exactly why the sword is has such a potent effect on mortals. Oh, that'll probably be her. Hello there, Umbra.
You risk much by speaking to me. You should leave this place now.
I take it that you're Umbra. I'm here for your sword.
Umbra is my blade. It is who I am, who I was meant to be. For years I have fed my blade the souls of man and mer, warriors and priests, kings and paupers, men, women, and children, all have bled for me. I have seen them all fall, and still Umbra hungers for more.
But you're just a village girl from Pell's Gate. How could you possibly have done all that?
Do not speak to me of that place. It was another lifetime. It was before I became what I am now. Perhaps they sent you to kill me. Are they worried I might come in the night and burn their village down around them? No matter. I am what I've become, and I know my fate. But what of you? What is it you seek? My death? My blade? I offer you a choice, more than I have offered most. Stay here and die, or leave now and live your life. Speak to me again when your mind is set.
This your out, friend. Leave it alone. How about we just march on back to the shrine and tell Clavicus the deal is off? Sure, he'll be a bit put off, but you won't be dead. At least, you probably won't. That's better odds than you're getting here.
Umbra will feast on your soul.
The Hound of Clavicus Vile is severely underestimating me.
I assume you've made your choice. Umbra hungers. What shall it be?
Yeah, we fight. I want that sword.
Come then. Try your luck. Feel the bite of Umbra. What's the matter? Getting tired?
Ooh, she does have a lot of health, actually.
What's the matter? Getting tired? This ends here! That the best you can do?
And she's dead. She was a little bit tougher than I thought she'd be, actually. Umbra. 30 points of damage. Ooh. $30 versus 29. And this is 30 unimproved. Oh no. Oh no. This is way too tempting. Just repair everything real quick. $33 versus 29. Ooh. It does look nice, doesn't it? I've retrieved the Umbra sword.
I'm telling you, don't bring that sword back to Clavicus. It'll ruin him, I'm sure. I mean, not completely. He's still a Daedra prince and all that. Look, keep the sword if you want. That's your decision. But don't give it back to Clavicus. He doesn't know what's good for him sometimes.
It is a nice sword. Does a lot of damage in comparison to the Thorn Blade. Why shouldn't I keep it? Oh man. It does do significantly more damage. I'm gonna take her stuff just because I can. And we'll, let's see here. Oh, thought I had my carrying shit ring with me. I guess not. Okay, hang on. Where is... Light and load only 75. Well, I don't want everything. Put down the shield and the helmet. That is also a pretty cool look. But we're gonna stick with this. Goodbye, Staff of Conflagration. We're gonna sell off the Warhammer. We'll leave everything else there. Naturally, I have no intention of wearing that stuff. I just wanted to collect it. Oh boy. Do like the amount of damage it does. That is rather, I think Dar-Lei finds that curious, that it's a sword that, that, as far as he knows, is not a Daedric artifact. And yet it has this corrupting influence on mortals. The fact that any artifact could have a corrupting influence on mortals is already fascinating to begin with. But the fact that that's something that is, again, as far as he knows, not actually a Daedric artifact that's doing this, that can do this to people, he finds that fascinating. Maybe it is worth it to hang on to this and do a double cross on Clavicus Vial. I'm starting to think so. I think I've kind of talked myself into it. Which, by the way, there are a couple ruins here. There's this cave over here that we didn't really go into, and then there's a yeah, we didn't go in that cave last time, and then there's this alien ruin just over there that I think we might check out. Clavicus.
You've brought the sword. Now give it to me. As we agreed, Umbra and I have unfinished business.
Deal's off.
You would dare? We had a bargain, little hero. You would risk my wrath for a pitiful little sword? I will be watching you, mortal, and waiting.
Yes, good luck with that. Clavicus Vial was not pleased that I elected not to return to him the Umbra sword. Good luck with that, Clavicus.
Oh well, been good knowing you, kid. Back to being his hound for me. As for you, good luck, I guess. I've met worse.
Thanks, I think. I'm just glad to be rid of you, honestly. All right, we need... Actually, this is pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. All right, so let's go ahead and check out this cave that we discovered in the last episode. Didn't really get to go into. And we'll check out the alien ruin just across the way. Ooh. Steel blue Antiloma. Don't mind if I do. And we'll cast Starlight. Oh no, a fearsome mud crab. Give me that soul. Let's strike it down with just our sword and get the soul. Dar-Lei's gotta admit, that's kind of convenient. Not having to use magicka.
If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get.
Oh!
Show me what you've got. You do realize I've been holding back.
There we go. Ah. Love watching them go down like that. Another fucking rat. Dog over there. Let's get its soul. Making sure that we're not encumbered. There we go. Nice. Nothing of interest. Really? We're too fast for our own good. I can't even see what's happening.
Yeah.
Nice. I am enjoying the sword. I gotta say. I do really like the look of it as well. Oh no, we're over encumbered. Cheap wine. Shovel. We can live with being over encumbered for just a second. Ba, 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 ba. All right. Shoop. Wait. Oh shit. Okay, we got to do a double thing. Fuck. All right, hang on. Light and load as well. There, that did it. Okay.
Showing your face was the last mistake you'll ever make.
There it is.
Oh!
Okay. Oops, wrong one. Forgot that I've got sword to soul trap with now. Okay, so we've kind of done a loop around here. See about going down this way.
Oh!
How are you not dead? Rude. Right. No, didn't get a soul. Man, this makes me wish that I had some black soul gems. Okay, around here really. Make sure that's nice and refreshed. Nothing but dead mud crabs and whatnot. Oh, some fun stuff. Mystery of Talara, Volume 1. Oh, good. I think we have Volume 2. I might, or maybe I'm thinking about Narathor. I'm not sure. All right, we'll give that a read. This is the first volume. I've heard that it's a rather good story. I feel like I've watched a Let's Play where somebody reads that book, and it's quite good. So we'll definitely give that a read. After all, we are kind of getting over encumbered, so soon we're gonna have to return to either our Wizard's Tower or the Arcane University to kind of put some things away. So there will be some reading in the near future. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. All right. So let's go ahead and explore this alien ruin over here, and then we'll go go back to probably the Arcane University since it's nearby. Hayatatar. Yeah, I don't think we've been here before, have we? Oh no, we have. Yeah, I remember this place. Oh yeah, it probably has new residents. I'm not super interested in going in there. Okay. Let's go ahead and get back to the Arcane University then. So we're gonna head up to the Archmage's Tower, our tower, even, and put away some of these things. And yeah, I could probably just do one more feather spell, but I really don't feel like looking it up.
Well met.
Good to see you. I hope you found more Daedric shrines. I will not take no for an answer on this. Oh, we probably should have thanked him, because those first two leads did yield good things. Oh well, I'll thank him later. So we'll put away Thornblade, put it on display on the table. I'm not sure what the heck we just knocked over. Crumpled piece of paper. It's very heavy apparently because it's making noises. Nice. Very cool. Great. All right. So let's go ahead and put some stuff away. We'll put away we'll put the Savior's high. Well, I feel like Daedric artifacts should maybe go to our wizard's tower. Yeah, probably. But Umbra's ebony stuff, I don't mind putting away in here. We'll put this ring in here too. Yeah, so Daedric artifacts will go back to our wizard's tower. All right. Now, do I have Mystery of Talara Volume 2 in here somewhere, or is it at my wizard's tower? It's probably at my wizard's tower. A lot of the biography of... We might as well read the biography of Baron Zaya, since we have all the editions. Children's Annuad is also worth reading. Okay. Let's go ahead and have a seat. Do a little bit of reading. Let's read Mystery of Talara, Volume 1. Then we'll have a rest. 19 pages long. Ooh, we got a skill up from that. What do we get? Acrobatics. Oh my gosh. So close to a level. All right, let's give it a read. Actually, I'm gonna do a quick stretch. Okay, I'm back. All right. The Mystery of Princess Talara, Part 1, by Mara Licketh. The year was Third Era 405. The occasion was the millennial celebration of the founding of the Breton kingdom of Camlorn. Every grand boulevard and narrow alley was strung with gold and purple banners, some plain, some marked with the heraldic symbols of the royal family or the various principalities and dukedoms, which were vassals of the king. Musicians played in the plazas great and small, and on every street corner was a new exotic entertainer. Redguard snake charmers, Khajiit acrobats, magicians of genuine power, and those whose flamboyant skill was equally impressive, if largely illusion. The sight that drew most of the male citizens of Camlorn was the March of Beauty. 1,000 comely young women, brightly and provocatively dressed, danced their way down the long, wide main street of the city, from the temple of Sethiet, who the heck is Sethiet, to the royal palace. The menfolk jostled one another and craned their necks, picking their favorites. It was no secret that they were all prostitutes, and after the march and the flower festival that evening, they would be available for more intimate business. Gina? Gina? Oh my god. That's the character's name? Gina or Gina? Or Gina? I don't know. Oh my god, I'm gonna go with there's no good way to say this name that's not gonna make me laugh. This isn't good because I'm apparently a middle schooler, and okay, I'm gonna go with Gina. I don't know. Gina attracted much of the attention with her tall, curvaceous figure, barely covered by strips of silk, and her curls of flaxen hair specked with flower petals. In her late 20s, she wasn't the youngest of the prostitutes, but she was certainly one of the most desirable. It was clear by her demeanor that she was used to the lascivious glances, though she was far from jaded at the sight of the city in splendor. Ugh, I'm all tongue-tied. Compared to the squalid quarter of Daggerfall where she made her home, Camlorn at the height of celebration seemed so unreal. And yet, what was even stranger was how, at the same time, familiar it all looked, though she had never been there before. I need to reread that. And yet, what was even stranger was how, at the same time, familiar it all looked, though she had never been there before. Very strange sentence. The king's daughter, Lady Gilia, rode out of the palace gates and immediately cursed her misfortune. She had completely forgotten about the March of Beauty. The streets were snarled at a standstill. It would take hours to wait for the march to pass, and she had promised her old nurse, Ramka, a visit in her house south of the city. Gilia thought for a moment, picturing in her mind the arrangement of streets in the city, and devised a shortcut to avoid the main street and the march. For a few minutes, she felt very clever as she wound her way through the tight, curving side streets, but presently she came upon temporary structures, tents, and theaters set up for the celebration, and had to improvise a new path. In no time at all, she was lost in the city where she had lived all but 5 years of her life. Peering down an alley, she saw the main avenue crowded with the March of Beauty. Hoping that it was the tail end, and desirous not to be lost again, Lady Gilia guided her horse toward the festival. She did not see the snake charmer at the mouth of the alley, and when his pet hissed and spread its hood, her charge reared up in fear. The women in the parade gasped and surged back at the sight, but Lady Gilia quickly calmed her stallion down. She looked abashed at the spectacle she had caused. "My apologies, ladies," she said with a mock military salute. "It's all right, madam," said a blonde in silk. "We'll be out of your way in a moment." Gilia stared as the march passed her. Looking at that whore had been like looking in a mirror. The same age and height and hair and eyes and figure, almost exactly. The woman looked back at her, and it seemed as if she was thinking the same thing. And so how did I decide to pronounce her name? I'm gonna go with Gina, because otherwise I'm gonna laugh too much. And so Gina was. The old witches who sometimes came into Daggerfall had sometimes spoke of doppelgangers, spirits that assumed the guise of their victims and portended certain death. Yet the experience had not frightened her. It seemed only one more strangely familiar aspect of the alien city. Before the march had danced its way into the palace gates, she had all but forgotten the encounter. The prostitutes crushed into the courtyard as the king himself came to the balcony to greet them. At his side was his chief bodyguard, a battle mage by the look of him. As for the king himself, he was a handsome man of middle age, rather unremarkable. But Gina was awed at the sight of him. A dream, perhaps. Yes, that was it. She could see him as she had dreamt of him, high above her as he was now, bending now to kiss her. Not a one of lust, as she had experienced before, but one of small fondness, a dutiful kiss. "Dear ladies, you have filled the streets of the great capital of Camlorn with your beauty," cried the king, forcing a silence on the giggling, murmuring assembly. He smiled proudly. His eyes met Gina's and he stopped, shaken. For an eternity, they stayed locked together before His Highness recovered and continued his speech. Afterwards, while the women were all en route back to their tents to change into their costumes for the evening, one of the older prostitutes approached Gina. "Did you see how the king looked at you? If you're smart, you'll be the new royal mistress before this celebration ends." "I've seen looks of hunger before, and that wasn't one of them," laughed Gina. "I'd wager he thought I was someone else, like that lady who tried to run us over with her horse. She's probably his kin, and he thought she had dressed up like a courtesan and joined the March of Beauty. Can you imagine the scandal?" When they arrived at the tents, they were greeted by a stocky, well-dressed young man with a bald pate and a commanding presence of authority. He introduced himself as Lord Strail, ambassador to the Emperor himself, and their chief patron. It was Strail who had hired them, on the Emperor's behalf, as a gift to the king and the kingdom of Camlorn. "The March of Beauty is but a precursor to the Flower Festival tonight," he said. Unlike the king, he did not have to yell to be heard. His voice was loud and precise in its natural modulations. "I expect each of you to perform well, and justify the significant expense I've suffered bringing you all the way up here. Now hurry, you must be dressed and in position on Cavalsteer Rock before the sun goes down." The ambassador needn't have worried. The women were all professionals, experts at getting dressed and undressed with none of the time-consuming measures less promiscuous females required. What the heck? His manservant, oh god, Norbuth? What a name. His manservant Norbuth offered his assistance, but found he had little to do. Their costumes were simplicity itself. Soft, narrow sheets with a hole for their heads. Oh god, I was really worried I was gonna say something else. I'm sorry. Okay. God. Not even a belt was required, so the gowns were open at the sides, exposing the frame of their skin. Okay, so it was long before the sun had set that the prostitutes turned dancers were at Cavalsteer Rock. It was a great, wide promontory facing the sea, and for the occasion of the Festival of Flowers, a large circle of unlit torches and covered baskets had been arranged. As early as they were, a crowd of spectators had already arrived. The women gathered in the center of the circle and waited until it was time. Gina watched the crowd as it grew, and was not surprised when she saw the lady from the march approaching, hand in hand with a very old, very short, white-haired woman. The old woman was distracted, pointing out islands out at sea. The blonde lady seemed nervous, unsure of what to say. Gina was used to dealing with uneasy clients and spoke first. "Good to see you again, madam. I am Gina of Daggerfall. I'm glad you bear me no ill will because of the because of the horse, the lady laughed, somewhat relieved. "I am Lady Gilia Reyes, daughter of the king." "I always thought that daughters of kings were called princesses. Were called princess," smiled Gina. "In Camlorn, only when they are heirs to the throne." "In Camlorn, only when they are heirs to the throne. I have a younger brother from my father's new wife whom he favors," Gilia replied. She felt her head swim. It was madness speaking to a common prostitute, talking of family politics so intimately. "Relative to that subject, I must ask you something very peculiar. Have you ever heard of the Princess Talara?" Gina thought a moment. "The name sounds somewhat familiar. Why would I have?" "I don't know. It was a name I just thought you might recognize," sighed Lady Gilia. "Have you been to Camlorn before?" "If I did, it was when I was very young," said Gina, and suddenly she felt it was her turn to be trusting. Something about the Lady Gilia's friendly and forthcoming manner touched her. "To be honest, I don't remember anything at all of my childhood before I was 9 or 10. Perhaps I was here with my parents, whoever they were, when I was a little girl. I tell you, I think perhaps I was. I don't recall ever being here before, but everything I've seen, the city, you, the king himself, all seem like I've been here before, long ago." Lady Gilia gasped and took a step back. She gripped the old woman, who had been looking out to sea and murmuring, by the hand. The elderly creature looked to Gilia, surprised, and then turned to Gina. Her ancient half-blind eyes sparkled with recognition, and she made a sound like a grunt of surprise. Gina also jumped. If the king had seemed like something out of a half-forgotten dream, this woman was someone she knew, as clear and yet indistinct as a guardian spirit. "I apologize," stammered Lady Gilia. "This is my childhood nursemaid, Ramka." It's her! Wait, that's not my old woman voice. It's her! The old woman cried, wild-eyed. She tried to run forward, arms outstretched, but Jillia held her back. Gina felt strangely naked and pulled her robe against her body. No, you're wrong, Lady Jillia whispered to Ramka, holding the old woman tightly. The Princess Talara is dead, you know that. I shouldn't have brought you here. I'll take you back home. She turned back to Gina, her eyes welling with tears. The entire royal family of Camlorn was assassinated over 20 years ago. My father was Duke of Aloyne, the king's brother, and so he inherited the crown. I'm sorry to have bothered you. Good night. Gina gazed after Lady Jillia and the old nurse as they disappeared into the crowd, but she had little time to consider all she had heard. The sun was setting, and it was time for the flower festival. 12 young men emerged from the darkness wearing only loincloths and masks and lit the torches. The moment the fire blazed, Gina and all the rest of the dancers rushed to the baskets, pulling out blossoms and vines by the handful. At first, the women danced with one another, sprinkling petals to the wind. The crowd then joined in as the music swelled. It was a mad, beautiful chaos. Gina leapt and swooned like a wild forest nymph. Then, without warning, she felt rough hands grip her from behind and push her. She was falling before she understood it. The moment the realization hit, she was closer to the bottom of the 100-foot tall cliff than she was to the top. She flailed out her arms and grasped at the cliff wall. Her fingers raked against the stone and her flesh tore, but she found a grip and held it. For a moment, she stayed there, breathing hard. Then she began to scream. The music and the festival were too loud up above. No one could hear her. She could scarcely hear herself. Below her, the surf crashed. Every bone in her body would snap if she fell. She closed her eyes, and a vision came. A man was standing below her, a king of great wisdom, great compassion, looking up, smiling. A little girl, golden-haired, mischievous, her best friend and cousin, clung to the rock beside her. The secret to falling is making your body go limp, and with luck, you won't get hurt, the girl said. She nodded, remembering who she was. 8 years of darkness lifted. She released her grip and let herself fall like a leaf into the water below. And that is it for part 1. Quite the read. And apparently I have the maturity of a middle school boy and I can't help but laugh at this stuff. Well, I think after that, Dar-Lei could use a little rest, and then in the morning we'll, time to hunt for more Daedric artifacts. Artifacts. Bleh. Words are hard.